You, aka DJ Super God. We're here. I'm in Detroit in my war room. Steelers 2024 NFL Draft War Room. As usual, you see me here every year at the draft for a couple of decades straight. We're going to get down to it. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Detroit, Michigan. Day one of the NFL draft is going down. We got to talk, y'all. We got to talk. Everybody get in chat. Cash App is Lightskin Television 3. $ Lightskin Television 3. Support if you may. A lot of talk is going down. A lot of rumors are circulating. A lot of speculation going down. But no one really knows what's going to happen until it actually happens. Sounds like a bunch of gibberish, but I'm speaking the truth. Where do we start? Round one. We have the 20th overall pick. We're picking the 20th, 51st in the second round, 84th in the middle of the third round, compensatory pick at 98th at the end of the third round, 119th in the fourth round, 175th. We have no fifth round pick due to previous transactions last year. We have the sixth round pick early in the sixth round, very early in the sixth round at 175, I believe, and a late sixth round pick at 198. Where do we go? Last year, what I did, I looked at the present roster, which is not full with 90 players that we allot at this time of the year. Most teams fill that up right before minicamp. I think we're somewhere around high 60s, low 70s right now as far as the amount of players on our roster. There's no active roster to after Labor Day. But right now, we're trying to fill up a roster and compete to win the Super Bowl this year. There's no more rebuilding. It's now or never at this point. You know we got Russell Wilson. 2 quality backup quarterbacks behind him. Justin Fields, Kyle Allen. Some might think he's a quality backup. He's at least a former starter, so he's apt to be a third-string quarterback. Will we draft another one? Probably. If not, we'll get one, maybe even 2 undrafted. Saturday night, Sunday morning. But as it stands right now, we have the 20th pick. You hear the talk, you hear the mumble. Potential trading up, trading back, trading down. Trades for Brandon Ayuk or another unnamed wide receiver. Where are we going? Which direction are we going? We don't know. We're just fans. We're just a consumer. We don't really know. I've got all my paperwork here, my magazines, everything here. Draft day predictions. I've got the big board, final draft targets, reported visits, scheduled visits. I got the whole history of the path to the draft from January up to now in April. For me, it's been a 13-week process. It's been 90 days that I put in. Hard work. Let's get down to it. First round, we have the 20th overall pick. What are we looking at? I'm looking at our final targets. I started out with 118 players. Out of there will be 256 players drafted over these next 3 days in Detroit. There's close to 1,000 young men that are coming out of college right now, college football players that were just playing a couple months ago in college, matriculated students in college playing football that have a dream of going to the NFL and playing in the NFL. Almost 1,000 players from Division I, 1AA, Division II, and Division III, and international players from Australia, Africa, all throughout Europe. Their dream, their aspiration is to be an NFL player, to play in a National Football League. Almost 1,000, but only 256 are going to get drafted in the next 3 days. That leaves you close to 700 players that will not be drafted. But Saturday night and Sunday morning, each team will latch on to about 15 to 18 more players that were undrafted. They will sign as undrafted free agents, at least momentarily, for rookie camp purposes and mini camp purposes possibly also. So 15 times 32, 16 times 32, you're looking at a potential another 500 players that will latch on to an NFL team. They'll be able to tell their parents, co-workers, fellow students, relatives that I play in the NFL, at least this spring and summer. I latched onto a team or two or three. There's going to be about 700 young men that were just college students that will be suiting up next month in rookie camp and possibly mini camp as NFL players. How long that will last is up to them and how well they're prepared and if teams find interest in them enough to keep them on a 53-man roster in September. But for now, 700 men will be seen. That other 200 men, maybe 150 of them will realize my dreams of playing professional football, at least in the NFL, are not going to happen. There might be another 50 to 60 kids, young men, that might try out other leagues, Arena League, USFL, London, like wherever there's other leagues, they might try to latch on somewhere else and creep their way back to the NFL one day. But for now, 256 men are getting drafted. Another 500 will be undrafted and signed to an NFL team, and a couple hundred will not be touched. No one will pursue them in a professional manner. But tonight, only 32 men can be drafted. Last year was 31. You know what happened last year. Dolphins, you got caught with your hand in the cookie jar. And poor Joey Porter from our team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, was drafted 32nd. He would have been a first rounder like every other year, but he's put into a different payment bracket, a different pay scale. Sliding pay scale is the 32nd pick, first pick of the second round. Doesn't happen this year. We got all 32 picks. I won't say 32 teams will pick because there's trade possibilities. The Bears have 2 picks, but we're talking about the Steelers right now. The 20th pick, which direction do we go, y'all? Which direction do we go for the 20th overall pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Do you want to move up? Are you believing the rumors? Are you falling for the banana in the tailpipe pause if necessary? Can you see us moving up to trade with Denver to potentially get what? A better corner? A highly touted wide receiver, one of the top 3? Do we have our eyes on one of those to get the best possible offensive tackle? Because we're not satisfied with Dan Moore after 3 years, never hardly missing a down or a game. He's been solid, average at best, if that, but he's been dependable, like Chooks was dependable for 5.5, 6 years. But we no longer need dependable if we're going to be vying for a Super Bowl championship this year. We need 2 bookend, solid, good offensive tackles. Last year, we moved up in the draft to 14th. Okay? They get Broderick Jones from the University of Georgia. Did not plug him in as a left tackle. Dan Moore still started opening day. Went to Broderick at left tackle for a while. End up keeping Dan right there where he was. Chooks opened his mouth, ran his mouth, said some things that were unfavorable to Mike Tomlin, allegedly, and was benched. Nah, Mike Tomlin said that. He actually benched him, and his career was over in Pittsburgh. We cut him too and saved about $6 to $8 million off his $10 million salary. With that being said, Broderick Jones finished the whole season at right tackle and did a fine job. Not Pro Bowl material, wasn't Rookie of the Year material, but he did well. You can see the promise. You can see he's going to be something. But his natural position, as we understand, is left tackle. So what is the deal? If we move up to, say, 12th with Denver and trade with Denver, do we want to get the best possible tackle? And if so, do we get the number 1 right tackle or the number 2 or 3 left tackle? We get a left tackle. What's the purpose if we really want to move Broderick to left? Or are you searching for a tackle that's potentially better than Broderick Jones at left tackle and keep Broderick there at right tackle for the foreseeable future? Is that something we want to do? Ask yourself. It can go a lot of ways. It can go a lot of ways. Do we go Brian Thomas Jr.? Tall, rangy wide receiver. Put you in the mind of a upgrade from Martavis Bryant without the weed problems and the female problems. 6'4", about 220. Speed, jumps out the gym, runs beautiful routes, a touchdown machine. Led the whole country in receiving touchdowns last season. Ironically, they say he's not even the best wide receiver on his team. Malik Nabers, they said he's the best. I can't tell. I can't tell. It might be Brian. Can you pass? If we want to win a Super Bowl, we got a brand new quarterback trying to put together an offensive line who were average last year. We want to get to elite. Our problem was we couldn't get in the end zone. I only want to go into the Kenny Pickett stuff and the Trubisky and how Rudolph saved the day at the end. We couldn't get in the end zone. We only give up about 19 points a game like every season as a defense. No matter how many players are injured on our defense, only give up about 19 points per game, sometimes 18, which is great. Not elite, but it's good. It's top 10, top 7. But we're in the bottom with scoring every year. We're in the lowest 3 or 4 teams as far as offensive scoring. We can't get in the effing end zone. What are we going to do to change that? We can't get in the end zone. You can get all the offensive linemen you want in the first and second round. If you don't get a solid number 2 or a number 1 that'll make George Pickens a number 2, which he already was when Deontay was here, and I'm going to miss Deontay. We'll get to that later. How are we going to score? We got a solid running game. Top 5 running game. Added another solid running back / wide receiver kick returner that Arthur Smith brought with him. Cordero Patterson, the greatest kick returner of all time, is also a great 3rd string running back / number 6 wide receiver. We've got a solid running game. Average offensive line is on the upswing when we add more talent. What are we missing on offense? We got the kicker, brand new punter, European punter, who's great in free agency. What are we missing? Our passing game sucks because we can't score. Now we got Russell Wilson. He needs weapons. We lost 2 starters. We cut Allen Robinson as a cap casualty to save money to make the moves we had to in free agency and other places. We traded Deontay for Dante Jackson. I don't know. In hindsight, we'll come back to that and see if that was the right move. I don't know. I missed Deontay already. Got Dante Jackson a solid starting right corner with experience and speed, elaborate speed. But we tried hard on the free agency to land a big name 1,000-yard wide receiver, somebody better than Deontay Johnson to replace him. Still truly haven't replaced Allen Robinson, which wouldn't be hard to do as far as his production was not good. Calvin Austin might be the best wide receiver on the team, but we won't even give the man a chance. This might be the year you might have to pair him on the other side of Pickens like they did in the beginning of the season when Deontay was hurt and it was working out pretty well. You might have to pair him over there if we don't do something this weekend as far as establishing a big-time receiver with height and hands. Hopefully speed, too. Someone who can get in the end zone. Create problems for defenses. And that takes me back to Brian Thomas Jr. Why not? Why not? Rome Odunze is not going to fall that far, I don't think, from Washington. Marvin Harrison Jr. is not going to fall that far, nor will Malik Nabers. Not going to fall that far. So what do we do in that situation? We got to go to the small board because it's like 100, like I said, 118 players that we've interviewed, talked to, brought in for visits. At some point, we talked to and probed, pause if necessary, these 118 players. I broke it down to a smaller amount. The small board, I call it, about 40, 45, 50 players. And then I broke it again down today to the final targets. Look at the small board focus. First round. These are some of the people that we really probed and looked into. Amarius Mims, right tackle, Georgia. Talise Fuaga, Oregon State, tackle. Can also play some guard if needed. J.C. Latham, strictly a right, well, he can play left tackle, but strictly pretty much a right tackle in the NFL. Alabama. Center, everyone's tying us into Jackson Powers Johnson. Of course, you know, I go to the combine too. I went to the combine, snuck my way into, you know, I crashed shit after the combine. Went to the meetings, crashed. I got the proof. I got video, me talking and interviewing, you know what I mean, Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon. Got pictures and everything to prove and met damn near all the prospects. I'm really in the field. For Lightskin Television, I'll do anything. I'm really in the field. I really did my due diligence like I work for the Steelers. I'm part of the scouting staff. Like I said, Jackson Powers Johnson, center. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who probably won't be a first round. He'll probably be a second or third. Some have him as a first round grade. You know, he's got the pedigree. His father was a great inside linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles. Jeremiah Trotter, Clemson. Kool-Aid McKinstry, who I've been pounding the table for 2 years while he was at Alabama. So when he comes to the pros, we got to get him first round. And he could fall in our lap. I still would love to have Kool-Aid McKinstry. Very similar to Joey Porter, but he's a punt returner too, and we need that. Calvin Austin needs to focus on being a wide receiver. Terrion Arnold, his teammate at Alabama on the other side, play inside or outside. Skill set is beautiful. Michael Penix Jr., we did talk to him. I doubt it. We probably wouldn't draft Michael Penix Jr. as good as he is. Got a lot of quarterbacks, but we do need another quarterback. That would be a wild move, but you draft Michael Penix Jr., you're pretty much telling us in the first round, or if he slips to the second, you're telling us he's the future quarterback. Kind of similar to when the Eagles had Carson Wentz on the roster after, you know, making him a very high first-round pick. Was he number 1 overall, number 2, whatever he was, the trade situations and everything. And still drafting, what's his name over there now? Jalen, Hurts. Had Jalen Hurts sit a while, but they knew. Carson Wentz, Eagles fans, everyone knew when they drafted Hurts, second round out of Alabama, he was going to be the future quarterback, no matter how high they went up for Carson Wentz. That would be the same situation with us, too, if we brought in Michael Penix Jr. Brian Thomas Jr., LSU wide receiver. Roma Dunze, Washington, wide receiver. Xavier Legette. Legette is a funny choice. Legette is like the wide receiver version of Kenny Pickett when he was in college. All that red shirting and getting a reprieve for the COVID season. Man, I think he's like damn near 24 years old, man. He's been in college for like 5 years. First 4 years, his statistics were not impressive at all. I mean, he didn't do much. That fifth year, when he came back as a fifth-year senior, lit up college football, lit up the SEC conference. Just an all-around, looks good on paper, looks good on film, but his body of work for college is ass, to be honest. Is he going to be slow to develop in the NFL? Is he going to pick up where he left off last year at South Carolina? Sizable wide receiver, I think a little bit under 6'3", 6'2"-ish, over 200. Speed, good hands, big playability. We'd love to have him here, be perfect. Kind of reminds you of George Pickens a lot without all the issues and problems and attitude. But his body of work over a career in the college football, not impressive. He's like a one-year wonder. Got Nate Wiggins. I really think we're overthinking this. I think they've always liked Nate Wiggins since the beginning of the process. I wouldn't be shocked. He's not my choice. Nate Wiggins is not my choice for first round, 20th overall pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I really think they're going to take Nate Wiggins. Because Pittsburgh doesn't do what you want them to do. They do whatever. What's that? Jordan or LeBron? Nah, not today, my brother. I appreciate you tuning in and everything, but we're dealing with the Steelers draft today. I'm in Detroit. It's day one. Like I was saying, Nate Wiggins, I really think we're going to take Nate. I truly think we're going to take Nate. I don't like it. Not that I don't like Nate Wiggins. I'll be proud to have him, but there's so many better choices there at 20. I really think Nate could really slip to the second round if we don't take him, or late first. But I really think we're tied to Nate. He kind of does fit our defensive scheme and what we're trying to do with the outside right corner. He could even start out his career as a nickel for now, and he probably would have to, because I'm pretty sure Dante Jackson, day one, opening day, is starting on the opposite end of Joey Porter Jr. Being that we don't have a true nickel right now, and our backup corners are only last year's two rookies, Darius Rush and Corey Trice, that we took in the 7th round and got hurt before the season even started for the whole year. They're question marks. They could be good, great, sorry, average. We don't know. We saw a little small dosage of Darius Rush. Didn't look bad in a pinch in certain situations when a lot of defensive backs were injured and down last year, but we picked him up in the middle of the year off the street. He got drafted, fourth round from the Colts last year. For some reason, they just cut him in the middle of the season. They didn't want him practice squad, none of that. We put him on our practice squad. Sooner or later, we activated him. He did okay. He had the next to last play of the game. He saved the game from being a game-winning touchdown from our opposition. But long story short, we only have them two tall, rangy outside corners. We have no nickel. We didn't re-sign Chandon Sullivan in free agency, who did fine for 1 year as a free agent playing nickel, coming from Minnesota with Patrick Peterson in free agency. I hate that we had to cut Patrick Peterson. I really think we're going to sign him Sunday or Monday. By the beginning of next week, I think Patrick Peterson will be back. I think he'll be back on the roster. We don't have a nickel. I can see Nate Wiggins going to the nickel if we took him at 20th. The pick I like, Cooper DeJean. DeJean. I met Cooper, a really nice kid, not as tall as they say he is. Excellent athlete. He would fit anything we want him to do in that defensive backfield. He could play it. He'll be here a lot of years. I think Cooper DeJean will be a perfect first-round pick at 20. Tyler Nubin, to me, he's the top safety. They have him rated as the 3rd or 4th. Top safety, he'll be an excellent pro for any team he goes to. It would be a reach to take him in the first round at 20th, but if we took him, I wouldn't be mad. I know we got our future safety right there. I know we have our I know we have our future safety if we take Tyler Nubin. I don't expect it, and we really didn't we didn't scout him really hard from what I know, allegedly. So I doubt that we would take him, but it's a possibility. He was on the list. We did talk to him. Talked to him at, I don't know if we only sent one person out to the Minnesota Pro Day, but we did talk to him at the Combine. So that 15-minute talk. So yeah, we watched him, but I don't think he's high on our list. Day 2, you're looking at like Zach Frazier, center. If we don't take a Graham Barton or a Jackson Power Johnson, who everyone has us tied to, if we don't take one of those two, there's a possibility in day 2 that we may take Zach Frazier. Graham Barton might slip to day 2. We might take him. We might go guard Christian Mahogany, Boston College, and figured out later in the draft, like Bo Limmer late in the draft from Arkansas, or Hunter Norzad, center from Penn State, later 4th, 6th round. Figure out the center situation then. May not be a plug-and-play center day 1 coming that late in the draft. We might do something internally. We might sign Connor Williams. You see that Alex Highsmith just freed up $7 million in a restructured deal. It may not be for a wide receiver trade like everyone expects today, like a Brandon Ayuk trade or Courtland Sutton. It might be something smaller. Like if we don't get the center that we want in the first 3 rounds, we might get a center that we like that we can develop in the 4th or 6th round and mess around and sign Connor Williams from the Miami Dolphins, you know what I mean, on a 2-year contract to hold us down to the young center is ready. Someone who can help us win a Super Bowl now, who's coming from a winning organization with a top offense. That's quite possible. That could really happen. But I'm looking at Zach Frazier. Cedric Van Pran will probably fall to the 3rd, but we could reach for him at the 2nd out of need for a center. And Cedric Van Pran really is the only true center in this draft coming out of college. You know, 3 solid years at Georgia, UGA. Freshman and sophomore year, he was the starter when they won back-to-back national championships. Like I said, we can go Christian Mahogany, the top guard. We can go with the top guard and move somebody to center. Like maybe a James Daniels who played center at Iowa. We got film of him playing center very well at Iowa. They say he's just as good as a center at Iowa and Chicago Bears that he was a guard with the Bears and the Steelers. So, you know. Jonathan Brooks, the running back, Texas. He's only had 1 year as a starter, so obviously he's not like a top flight halfback, but he's in a program where they run and pass well, a top offense, University of Texas. And his predecessor was the best running back in football. Got drafted last year in the 1st round to Atlanta Falcons. So he doesn't have a lot of experience, but what we really need, we have 3 solid halfbacks now, and Connor Hayward is a 2nd or 3rd string tight end that doubles as a fullback and emergency halfback. I think we're deep at halfback, but sometimes it's never enough, especially with Najee Harris becoming a free agent next year, unrestricted free agent, and he's probably not going to get the 5th-year option either next week. And Jaylen Warren is a restricted free agent next year. His 3 years is up. You know, so with that being said, it might be smart to have a guy like University of Washington's Dylan Johnson, who's an excellent back, or Jonathan Brooks, brought in as a running back. I doubt he will go 2nd round. He can go 2nd round, but I don't think we would use our 2nd round pick on a back that could be our 4th string halfback. That would be frivolous. A lot of experts have us linked to Keon Coleman, Florida State University. Not impressed with his output, his statistical output, but he plays hard. He's a tough guy. Reminds me of a Hines Ward type without the stats. He's a possibility in the 2nd round. Adonai Mitchell, A.D. Mitchell's not going in the 1st round. He's from Texas, as well as Xavier Worthy. Both of them are possible guys that we could draft in the 2nd round of wide receiver. Also Troy Franklin, Oregon. And we really like Malachi Corley from Western Kentucky University. With the Adonai Mitchell, A.D. Mitchell he kind of acts just like George Pickens. Him and George Pickens a few years back were teammates in the same wide receiver room at University of Georgia when they won a national championship. He's got a lot of the off-field traits like Pickens. I think them two together might be trouble, or might be music made in heaven. We really don't know. But we know we can go strong at wide receiver in the 2nd round. I really think that's a high possibility, 60% possibility that we take a wide receiver. In the 2nd round, regardless of who we take and what direction we go as far as positionally in the 1st round, we're looking at like a Keon Coleman, A.D. Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, also from Texas, Troy Franklin, Oregon, Malachi Corley, Western Kentucky University, Roman Wilson, Michigan, Ricky Pearsall Jr., Florida. We love him. They got us tied to Pretty Ricky. Nice fit, inside or outside. Probably slot. Starting out as a rookie. Florida, we're tied to him. Good possibility we take him. We can go to defensive route too, 2nd round. Braden Fisk. He can go anywhere from 1st round to 5th. With the great workout he had decent statistics at Florida State, but nothing off the charts. So it's hard to gauge where he would go, depending on the need and the scheme fit for the team that drafts him. That's what it would come down to. Rook Ororoho, Clemson, we're linked to him, defensive line, defensive tackle. I doubt we go defensive tackle that high. If it was, it would be Rook Oroho, Clemson, or McKinley Jackson, Texas A&M. Edgerrin Cooper is a possibility. We got to think future for inside linebacker. We got Patrick Queen. Landon Roberts is not here for long. Cole Holcomb, we expect to have him back. We never know he's going to be right again after his second major leg injury like that. And we don't have too much depth there at inside linebacker, at least not right now. It looks scarce right now. Maybe we address it in small free agency after the draft, but we got to think future when it comes to that. Edgerrin Cooper will hold us down for 4 years, minimum. Great rotational piece, future great star. Edgerrin Cooper, Texas A&M, possibility we taking an inside linebacker. It's Kalen Bullock, USC safety. Javon Bullard plays safety and nickel. University Steelers. I don't care which round we grab them. National champion, slot corner, nickel corner, Mike Sanders still. We got to get this dude. He's small built, but he's like the perfect defensive player. He's a Steeler all the way through and through. Steeler all the way through and through. Mike Sanders still, Michigan, 5'8.5", almost 200. I wouldn't call him a poor man's Mike Hilton. He's like Mike Hilton 3.0. And he's a champion, too. I would take Mike Sanders still in the second round. I wouldn't wait till the third. He might not be there. Quinyon Mitchell, I had him as a second-round grade. As obviously, Quinyon Mitchell has moved up the charts after his pro day and his workout at the Combine and his film and the 8 takeaways he had last year at Toledo. But it is Toledo at the end of the day, y'all. What's that, like 1AA, MAC conference? Pittsburgh always gets some great players there, you know, Deontay Johnson, even some undrafted guys like Nix, you know, Roosevelt Nix back in the day, Pro Bowler. Everyone I mentioned is Pro Bowler. Ben Roethlisberger, James Harrison, undrafted, Pro Bowl. Yeah, we got a good history going to that conference. We just got Deontay Johnson years back. But Toledo, Quinyon Mitchell, I love them, but they got him going potentially in the top 12. They got us moving up to 12 to get him. Moving up with Denver tonight. That's a possibility. Do we want him that bad? It's not a boom or bust pick, but damn, do you want to move up again? We're going to keep moving up every year in the first round. If we get him, it better hit. But I thought it would be smarter for him to slip to second. But I think the way it looks, man, he's going in the first round. I wouldn't mind having him, but I don't want to move. I don't want to really trade up to get nobody this year unless it's someone that was off our chart, off our grid, like a Marvin Harrison Jr., someone who would have been impossible to get that we can use right now. I don't know if I would move up. I don't want to use much draft capital to move up. I'll move down like an MFer this year with no problem. Tyke Smith, second or third round, UGA. Nickel or safety. Kamari Lassiter, UGA cornerback, don't like him, don't want him. He's a good player, but I don't want him on the Steelers. He just don't fit what we're doing. You understand what I'm saying? There's certain players schematically that don't fit what we're doing in Pittsburgh. Not with what we got going on. Not with the alignment. Nah. You just can't take everyone from UGA. Day 3, we got like Travis Glover. I don't even think he'll get drafted from Georgia State. I live in Atlanta. I know who he is. He'll probably be a good undrafted, but we really like him. We brought him in for a top 30 visit. Visited him at the Georgia Pro Day. Saw him at the Senior Bowl. This kid might get drafted by Pittsburgh in the 6th round as a seat filler. We keep getting these late round offensive tackles, and they don't never pan out either. They don't make the team, or they don't touch the field all year, inactive every week. I don't know what's up with that. How many do you want to just keep collecting? It's like we're hoarding offensive tackles, and these suckers don't never play. And then when we don't got no room to play him, then we like, oh, he also played a little bit of center and guard. And you can't just be mixing, matching players all across the offensive line as backups, man. Take a guy that plays a specific position and, you know what I mean, make him hold steadfast to that. Play that position. Stop trying to move everybody around. You got Nate Herbig for that right now. Also, day 3, Javon Foster, he slept on, offensive tackle, Missouri. They keep tying us to Matt Goncalves, 6th round, because he went to University of Pitt. We got to just stop taking Pitt players because they played on the same field as us for 4 or 5 years. We did that with Kenny Pickett. Total disaster, man. A few Pitt players, man. If they're not great Pitt players, leave them alone, man. Javion Cohen, Miami guard. Bo Limmer. I like Bo Limmer at center. I don't like him in the 4th round, but I take Bo Limmer if we move back to the 5th or move from the 6th to the 5th. If he's still hanging around the 6th, I just take Bo Limmer because he's going to be a good center one day. Maybe not right away. If we don't get no centers draft, take Bo Limmer in the 6th round if he's still hanging around. Arkansas, SEC, big country fed MF. Take him. Take him. Dylan Johnson. They got us tied to Dylan Johnson. Star halfback for University of Washington that's slipping real bad. Decent stats, but his stats don't come off the board on you. It's not like a 1,500-yard back with 6.5 yards of carry, but he's on a team that almost won the national championship, and he was a key piece. He can do a lot. You know what I mean? We deep it. Like I said, we deep at halfback, but if you like a guy enough at halfback, you might want to get him, man, even if he's on a practice team for a year. We don't know if Najee and Jalen will be back or either one, maybe both. We don't know what the future holds for these running backs. Depends on how the team fares in the postseason, which we're definitely going to. Got to win the Super Bowl right now. Brevin Spanford, tight end, Minnesota. Think we deep at tight end, but it's a possibility. 6th round, maybe. Jalen McMillan, the 3rd best wide receiver, University of Washington. One of Michael Penix Jr.'s targets. Not very athletic, but catches everything. He just pretty much runs up and down the sidelines and makes first downs. Can't go wrong with that. He got a little size to him, too. I think he's like 6'1", 195. University of Washington. Speaking of Washington, my man Taj Washington, a little 5 foot, was he like 5'8", 175? Little man for USC, man. He ain't afraid to go over the middle and get his head knocked off. Got a lot of touchdowns in that offense. You know what I mean? From Caleb Williams. He's a key little plug. He might be like the 4th or 5th receiver coming here, but by the following year, like 2025, he'll probably be our slot for like the next 4 or 5 years. Taj Washington, I fool with him, USC. Theo Johnson, I'm a Penn State fan. I threw him in there. We talked to him. Theo Johnson, 6th round or undrafted, you know what I mean, for depth at tight end. Defensive side, Mason Smith, LSU. Defensive tackle, we tied to him and Christian Boyd. We love them both, and Jordan Jefferson. I can see us taking any of them in the 4th or 6th round. Darius Robinson, slept on. Play inside or out on the defensive line, even edge, a big edge. University of Missouri. Javon Solomon, Troy. He got like 16 sacks last year, but he went to Troy, so nobody paying no mind. He reminds you of a poor man's Alex Highsmith. I definitely take him in the late 6th round. He'd be a steal. He's not going to be undrafted. Somebody going to get him in the 6th or 7th. Big James Williams, a 6'5.5" safety. He can hit, don't have a whole lot of speed, but got a lot of takeaways in the last 2 years. He might be a sleeper in the 4th round. Max Melton, I had him going in the 4th round. This son of a bitch might go late 1st, early 2nd now. And he would really fit us outside or inside, outside corner or slot. I wouldn't be mad if the Steelers grabbed Max Melton in the 2nd or 3rd round. If you slip to the 4th, you got to get him. MJ Devonshire, you can probably get him undrafted, but if you ain't had nothing better to do with your last pick at 198, go get the local boy from University of Pitt, MJ Devonshire. He got like about 10 takeaways in his career at University of Pitt. So that's my small board, man. That's about 50 players. Condensed 118 players that we actually interviewed down to 50. The final targets, I got it like this. Round 1, I really think, this is not what I want, but this is what I think the Steelers' final targets are. Round 1, Nate Wiggins, Jackson Powers Johnson, Cooper DeJean, Amarius Mims, Brian Thomas Jr. Round 2, Mike Sainristil, Malachi Corley, Zach Frazier, Graham Barton, Braden Fisk. 3rd round, Junior Colson, got 2 picks in the 3rd round. Junior Colson, Javon Bullard, Blake Fisher, Cedric Van Pran Granger, Mason Smith. Round 4, Tyke Smith, Peyton Wilson. Round 6, Javon Foster, Taj Washington, Luke McCaffrey. That's our top 20 targets. I can tell you that right now. Top 20 right there. My draft day predictions. I don't like it, but I think we're going to get Nate Wiggins in the first round. I don't know why. I just think we're really going to get Nate Wiggins. I think Jackson Powers Johnson is going to slip to the second. We're going to move up the second to get him. Maybe we'll just be patient. He will fall all the way to 51. Jackson Powers Johnson, second round. Malachi Corley, third. Mike Sanders still third. Braden Fisk or Mason Smith, fourth. George Whittington, Javon Foster, Blake Fisher, Taj Washington, sixth. What do you guys think, man? I don't know, man. This can go a whole lot of ways, man. But that first round is crazy, man. Let's look at the top 50. Mendy's is a good magazine. Street and Smith's I've been rocking with for years. Pro Football Weekly. Steele's got the best college football guys, but I'm rocking with Athlon's the last 6 or 7 years is my key one. I got 4 different Athlon's draft magazines. Very, very in depth. Shout out to them. Statistics of every player, everything, just breakdowns and beautiful magazine. Top 100 prospects. These are guys that we could possibly get at 20 that we have talked to, and is quite a possibility, depending on how the board falls. Olu Fashanu, Roma Dunze. I can look right on him. Malik Neighbors. No, Malik Neighbors now. Will Shipley, second round. Michael Penix Jr., we don't want him, but we talked to him. Michael Penix Jr., Xavier Legette, Keon Coleman, Adonai Mitchell, Roma Dunze, Xavier Worthy, Ted Walker, second round. Brian Thomas Jr., Zach Frazier, second round. Graham Barton, definitely. Jackson Powers Johnson, definitely a possibility. No guards, no defensive ends in the first round. Talise Fuaga, we'd love to have him. Troy Fatanu, I don't want him. Possibility we might get him if he falls there. I don't want him. I really don't. I hope we don't get him. I just don't have nothing against him. I just don't have the feeling. I just don't have a good feeling about him. Boomer bust. Amarius Mims, boomer bust. I met the young man at the combine this year. Love him. He said he loved to play with his roommate, Broderick Thomas again. Yeah, it'll be a cute match. You know what I mean? Georgia guys all over the offensive line and their tackle and wide receiver and all that. But he'll be a solid right tackle down the line, but right away, I just want to plug and play right away. I just think there's better players at 20. Something tells me we're going to get Nate Wiggins or Amarius Mims. Graham Barton, somebody like that, man. Oh, man, we can go a lot of ways with this. There's about 3 or 4 or 5 tackles we might get in the first round. I just don't want to move up. Not opposed to moving down and getting more picks in the second and third round, loading up and getting about 7 good players in the same draft that'll plug and play right now this year. Defensive tackle, Christian Boyd, maybe second round. Brandon Fisk. I don't see nobody in the first round going. No outside linebackers and edge rushers. Nope. Edgerrin Cooper, second round at best. Junior Colson, second round at best. Jeremiah Trotter, second round at best. Tommy Eichenberg, 4th round or something. Safety, Tyke Smith, Javon Buller, Tyler Nubin, definitely second and third round picks. Corner, we can go a lot of ways with it. Quinion Mitchell, like I said, Terrion Arnold, he probably won't fall that low. Cooper DeJean, Max Meltons, that's a reach. It's too high. Second round, third round type of guy. Mike Sanders still is definitely second and third round material, but call me crazy. I want Mike Sanders still in the Steelers so bad. If my top 3 once are not there at 20, I might just grab him just to be safe. I want Mike Sanders still in that slot for the next 13 years. I swear to God. Yo, Kool-Aid McKinstry, I've been wanting him for 2 years. Pause if necessary. I would love to have Kool-Aid McKinstry in the first round. I'm happy. Right there. JPJ one side, Kool-Aid the other. Come on. We ain't had two shutdown corners ever in Pittsburgh at the same time. We've always had a decent corner and a good corner, or a great corner and a sorry corner. We ain't had two solid shutdown first round quality corners ever that I remember, ever, since the 70s. And they weren't first round. I don't want Kamari Lassiter. Cooper DeJean, I'll take. Kool-Aid, I'll take. At corner, first round. Terrion Arnold, I wouldn't mind. Nate Wiggins, we're going to end up with him more than likely. I'll settle for him. I'll be happy after we get him, but not the first night if we get Nate Wiggins. But that's the way I break it down, y'all. We got needs. We got needs in free agency. We got to bring Patrick Peterson back if we don't get two solid corners in this draft this weekend. Got to bring Patrick Peterson back for depth and leadership and I want Patrick Peterson back. If we really strike out a corner this weekend in the draft, you could bring back last year's nickel for a one-year contract. If you wanted to, Chandon Sullivan. Maybe Darius Rush just fits. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell with Darius Rush and Corey Trice. They didn't really play last year. They were rookies. They got all the intangibles and measurables, but they didn't play. They weren't on the field. So I can't really gauge what they're worth right now as second-year players. But that's the breakdown, y'all. You know what I mean? I'm going to take a shower. I'm afraid to take a nap. I might oversleep. I'm amped. I'm tired at the same time. I'm anxious. I'm here in Detroit. I've been about 20 of these drafts and a few of these combines and be on TV all the time when the Steelers pick. This is exciting. It's like the biggest time of the year for me, man, as an individual. I really love this, man. Steelernation. Tell me what y'all think, man. What you think in the chat, man. Cash App is Lightskin Television 3, LIGHT, $ LIGHT, SKINTELEVISION 3. That's my Cash App. Y'all hit me up, man. I'm done talking, man. I'm just amped up. I'm amped up. I want to see what happened. You want to know my wish list? No specific order. Everyone says get a center. I don't really want a center. I want the center. If I can't get the center, grab a center in day 3. Hunter Norzad, Penn State. Bo Limmer, Arkansas. Or late third round if Cedric Van Granger is still there from Georgia, take him. I want Jackson Powers Johnson, but I just don't want him at 20. If it was up to me, I'd take Cooper DeJean with the 20th overall pick in the first round, or Kool-Aid McKinstry, or Brian Thomas Jr. Don't want to move up, not opposed to moving down. There's other picks that I wouldn't mind having in the first round. If it's not one of them top 3, I don't care I don't want to move out the first round, but if I had to move down and it's to the beginning of the second round or something like that, and I can load up some picks, if I didn't have no first round pick tonight, and we found a way to have 6 picks tomorrow on day 2, I'd do it. I know I'm getting 6 quality players that we really want in day 2 if we don't have no player tomorrow. But like I said, we freed up salary cap space yesterday with Alex Highsmith for some type of reason. We're either going to sign some free agents during the draft, even if they're not big-time free agents. We're going to shore up some positions as far as depth on either side of the ball, or we're making a massive monster fireworks trade tonight, if you know what I mean, for a big-time player, Pro Bowl caliber player at some type of position. But we're going to see. Like I said, Lightskin, you of Lightskin Television, brother Yusuf Cawthorn. Steeler Nation representative, face of the Steeler Nation at the NFL draft every year. I'm here. This is my war room. Day 1. You'll see me again day 2. Maybe around the same time on a live. But I really appreciate y'all time. And if you can't make it out here to Detroit this weekend to participate in these free activities that we have every year called the NFL draft, you know what I mean? Watch it on television, man. Keep in touch. We out. Lightskin Television. Peace.